Well, hello there. This is Kathy Crow here at the Crow Cottage in Springfield, Missouri. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is sort of like back to normal, and it feels very strange to be back to normal, actually. Today's project is interesting because I'm going to do Encircled in Nature. Now, this is like an online set that's been available for a little while, and I have really gotten in. I'm enjoying a lot of the new stuff and the new catalog. And when I saw this is what my plan was today, I was thinking, oh, I don't want to do that. But then when I started playing with the dies, I remembered why I bought this. So this is like one of those sets that I put it in with my wreaths. I had a hard time finding it today because it's in with my wreath stamp sets, and that is where I'm going to keep it because that's what it actually is to me. It's a wreath thing, but anyway, I'll explain more about that as I go. It's actually really cool, and I'm a little disappointed in it also today just because I am doing it with a kit. Because if you are getting my newsletter, and thank you for subscribing if you are, well, this sort of like snuck in here on me. Isn't this gorgeous? So this is a kit that was very briefly available. In fact, I barely had a chance to see it online before it was already gone. And I went on today hoping it was there. These are some of our new in colors from last time, so there's Copper Clay, Moody Mauve, and Boho Blue. And I really like those colored envelopes. I spend a fair amount on colored envelopes because I want them to match our colors, and we don't sell colored envelopes. But these kits, look at that. So there's empty on the inside, but they're colored on the front and back, and they have these absolutely fabulous scenes on them. So I don't remember what this set was called. It was like a Journeys or something adventure. I went online hoping that they would be available. Oops, upside down. There you go. Isn't this so nice? I mean, it is flat. Those of us who layer cards, you probably think that's not that exciting, but it actually is because it's colored for me. It's already colored for me. It's nice landscaping stuff, and I can add my little fun animals to it. I've seen a whole bunch of people have used that Coffee with Friends set when they're sitting out there in the woods having their coffee. Anyway, I love it. And it goes really well with our Encircled with Nature set. You can make this into a very, very easy, fun card set. But again, the kit isn't available right now. I do think it's going to come back because I couldn't tell if this was a paper pumpkin refill because at one point I think I saw that this was a paper pumpkin refill. If you already know about that, let me know because it's very possible. So they have, Stampin' Up! Is putting out new things every other month. New kits, and there's always a paper pumpkin every month. That's not new. We've had that for ages. But I do think the paper pumpkin sets are getting a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. But I've been more tempted by those the last couple of years than I ever have in the 20, 30, what? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been doing Stampin' Up! Stuff. And anyway, and the kits are really cute. So if you go into your catalog, you will see on the second page of it, not second page, but like right in the very beginning, it shows you kits collection. Now you can't see really the kits that are available. They have a couple of those. I bet those are already gone. They're sold out so quickly. You have to go online and hit the tab on Happening Now or What's New or whatever and click Kits, and then you can see what the kits are. So do that. Check out the online stuff too. I think this was an online exclusive. It is still available. The dies are and everything, so I have the numbers down there if you are interested in buying it. If you buy the whole bundle, it still has its bundled savings, so it's fairly new. If you buy the bundle from me, the product cost is I think $54, but you would have to buy cardstock or something also to get up to an amount where I will be able to, my computer shut off for me, I will be able to send you a catalog. So anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining me, for sharing and liking my videos. I do really appreciate it. You can always find me on Facebook, here on Facebook. You can also find me on YouTube. And I do probably put, oh, come on, where am I? I'm trying to find my comments over here if you are on with me. I guess what I can do is probably just click on, it looks like they have me like right on my page. I took the time with my team to try to center this so you can see it better. And I'm hoping that I've got it fixed so that you can. Let's see if I can turn it just a little bit. That probably made it worse. No, it actually did make it better. Okay, I'm gonna move you up just a tiny bit. All right, so now what I need to do, a little more, there we go. So Encircled in Nature, that's the name of this stamp set. Here's the price, $54. There are the numbers. I don't know if you can see it, but if you zoomed in, you would be able to. I've got my reminder what to talk to you about our join kit because it's pretty good right there. I did find when I was trying to find this kit, they do have something called Memorable Meadows. Now it's a paper pumpkin refill that's very similar to this. It's very pretty. So I think you would like it. I think my video is fine, although on my computer's really acting up today. It froze over there, but I think I'm actually recording just fine. So you get a few, there's just 4 scenes. Where's the 4th one? I know I've shown 3. I thought there was a 4th scene. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's 6 of each of 3 scenes. That must be it. Because there's just the 3 colors. So that must be it. Anyway, it's a really nice kit. If it comes back, that's great. But if it doesn't, then you could always just buy the Memorable Meadows paper pumpkin refill. Now, I think, though, that unless you're a demonstrator, you have to actually be taking the paper pumpkin to get the refills. So you would have to sign up for paper pumpkin stuff if you were going to do that. Now, I'm going to just take this card right here. It's already scored and ready to fold right for me. And this is how easy this is going to be today. So take your little Encircled with Nature stamp set. It has some very nice sentiments here for you. May this year be incredible and filled with possibilities. That's probably the reason I got this set, for the sentiments. The huge thank you is a very tiny font, but it's kind of clever with these mountains. I liked it with the mountains. And the wreath is a good size. You mean so much to me. I also really liked these pine trees. So that's what we're going to be using. We're going to use those pine trees. I have also cut out, and I have been storing them in here. Little thing, I did a bunch of Easter cards, you know, with a little bunny on that. So there's one extra one there. I also did from other stamp sets just some random blooms that could fit on here, and I'm gonna do that one today. But I also just got some random blooms. If you have some random leaves and blooms from other sets, you can so easily put that with this wreath. That's the great thing about wreaths. They allow you to use a whole lot of your stamps. I don't think I'm gonna, other than this flower, I don't think I need to stamp anything else up out of here other than the sentiments, because it's pretty easy to see how they look. And I'm only going to color that one flower, and I don't even know if I'm going to really even do that. We'll just see what I can get done with in the amount of time that I've got, because this one's been around for a while. You've probably seen a whole bunch of people do it, and it just happens to be on my list today. But oh boy, I've been having so much fun. Excuse me. My allergies are starting to act up. Oh boy, we've got some nice flowers out in the yard, but I think they make my allergies act up. So you can use embossing powder. Looks really good with this if you embossed it with gold. that would look really pretty. Maybe I'll do one for you so you can see how nice they turn out, because it's actually really simple to do, and it does, the gold really looks nice. Let me grab one of my little sheets of scrap paper here. And I've got some things on the other side of this cardstock, but we're going to just use this side. It'll be fine. Those embossed, those, oh, what are they? The blending pens, those alcohol ink blending pens, they color through things so nicely that even if you are using a bit of scrap that has something stamped on the back, you probably can go ahead and use it. Now, that was my little embossing buddy. You want to make sure you've always rubbed any area you're going to emboss. You want to rub that on there. If you want to subscribe to my website or my email, weekly email, there you go. That goes there. I'm kind of keeping an eye on my neighbors out here because they are doing some work in the house. And they put this big giant dumpster like right in the middle of their space, but I mean, they didn't even put it all the way against their house, so it's really sticking out and it's hard to get around and it's really annoying. So I saw them pull up with some other stuff, so I was like, well, you better not block the street, because if somebody needs an ambulance down there, you know, we have a lot of older people on this street. I might need the ambulance. So, sheesh, I don't want the street blocked. I want to be able to get to my house. We live on a cul-de-sac too. So if they block it, it's like, I don't have another way in, people. So you cannot block. Okay, so doesn't that emboss nicely? Okay, when we put it, oh, I almost dumped it all. That would have been really bad. When I heat set it, you're going to really like it, though. Embossing is just one of those really, really nice things that you can do to zip up a card. Pretty easy. In fact, you don't really even have to color it, really, when you do embossing. Now, our metallic powder comes in a set of 3. And that's very inconvenient right now, because if you're getting low on any of it, it's not even available right now. I don't think. It seems like it wasn't. It was on low inventory for a long time, and then it wasn't even available. This is the Versamark. You have to use that or some other very, very sticky kind of inker. That's generally a clear one. You can use colored inks, but it will show that color, and if that's what you want, that's great. But if you don't, then you don't. Okay, so we'll heat set this. Should go pretty quick. I don't think I had any stray. Sometimes I use a paintbrush to kind of get the stray powder off, but I didn't really see any. Sometimes I get a better stamping. Sometimes I do a better job with my embossing buddy than at other times. Isn't that pretty? It's so cool, even just as is. So now we've got those 2 images stamped. I'm not going to use those just yet. We're going to do this other card first, because I really liked this one. I wanted to use, before we do anything else, I'm going to take the sentiment, a huge thank you, and we're going to stamp it on right there. So you do want to, did I clean that? I think I did. Let me make sure I did. You do want to become a demonstrator, because things like this sell out so quick. Unless you're a demonstrator and you get the pre-order, I mean, you just don't even get the things that you want half the time. That's why I became a demonstrator. I was like sick and tired of never being able to order what I wanted, because by the time it got to me, everyone had already ordered that. Now, sometimes it will come back in, but by the time it comes in, I oftentimes don't want it, or it's like for a holiday that's past now, or by the time I get it, it will be past. I won't have time to make anything. This is Evening Evergreen. I don't even know if this color is still available, because it's an old one, but I just happen to really like it. It looks like I've got some fuzzy on my stamp for my tissue, probably. Okay, so now a huge thank you. We're going to stick that right over the top. Let's make sure I've squared it up. We'll put my card squared up with my lines, and there. Now we can stamp that on there. Very nice. It is nice to have these photopolymer stamps too. So I think my other wreaths that I have one wreath that's a photopolymer and one that is a cling. Those rubber stamps that are cling stamps. So that was another reason I bought this set, because it is a photopolymer one. It's a little easier for me to manage. Now I did stamp, because the ground color is copper clay. I used the stamp here, and I stamped on white and stamped this. But you know what? You don't even need, I think what I'm going to do, instead of having it on white like that, I think I'm going to take my copper clay. Let me find another card piece of it. We're going to take our copper clay, and this time, on this one, I just cut it out without stamping it, because I just wanted it to look like the wreath. But that looks okay, but I think this actually might look better. And so I cut it out and all, it's ready to go, but I'm not even going to use it because I think this is going to look better. I haven't tried it yet, but I assume it is. We're going to stamp copper clay on copper clay. This is such a big wreath that it doesn't really fit on this one very well. That's our next biggest. This is our biggest block. So I'm going to use that really big giant block. There are other things that you could do if you don't want to invest in a big block. You might happen to have a wood block that's this big. I know I have a whole bunch of wood blocks because I've been collecting stamps for a long time. All right, so copper clay, where are you? There you are. All right, we're going to stamp copper clay. Good, they moved already. Excellent. I didn't even need to get, they were just delivering a door, I guess, to the house. I hope that the person they've got doing their remodeling in there goes quick. Oh, I don't know, it's going to be pretty dark. I think we're going to do a stamped off version here. We're going to do one here, and then I'm going to flip it, and we're going to do another one here. And I'm going to use that one because I don't want it to be too obvious. I want to see the actual twigs, but I didn't really like that white all around it, if you get what I mean. I have another twiggy type stamp that I might use. It's smaller though. This wreath is actually quite big, and when I do a wreath card, I want it to fill the whole card. I don't want this teeny, tiny little wreath on the side. I want it to really fill my card. Okay, so that's all of those we're going to use. I'm going to need to use the dies though. So here's the die for that. We'll use that, and then I'm just going to use these two little pine tree dies. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. This will cut out your stamped pine tree. You know, you've got all of the images, and this has a really, I used this one, I think, in the fall or for Christmas. I don't remember which, but it has the berries, and that's another reason I got this, is I really wanted to have a good wreath that had berries on it. A big one, you know, and so now I do. But berries is not going to work for this. This is a summery card. This is not going to be a winter or fall card, so I don't want that. All right, let me move this stuff over. And I think we're done with those things for now. We will just get these cut out. Okay. Still has some residue from my pine trees left there. It is so nice to be back here, back home in Missouri. We were gone, and If you are a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, you will see the pictures I think I only put one. I try not to put pictures of our grandkids online, just because there's so many issues with people that you don't know, or robots for that matter. But they are so cute. Oh man, I am so happy. I hope you guys had a nice Mother's Day. We had a wonderful one. Our sermon was so good. My goodness, I'm having a hard time seeing this. It's stamped so. The other thing I like about this Encircled in Nature dies is I can actually see how this is supposed to be placed. You can use the tab where there's a gap in your wreath is where this tab goes, and then you can kind of fit it right in there to where the little twigs are, and it does work. It's not the die that's having an issue here. It's my eyes. I'm having a hard time seeing where my little twigs are jutting out, because they'll jut right into the place that they need to be if I'm doing it right. Okay, I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. I can't really see all that well because of my lights and what's going on here. This is as good as it's going to get. So we're going to roll that through. Hope for the best. It won't be perfect, I suspect, but it'll be close enough so that I can see my little wreath. It actually turned out quite good. All right, so there we go. So you can kind of see the sticks, the twigginess. Got some twigginess going there, which is good, and it's not got a white border. And I do really like this. This looks so much better. Now, while I have this here, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pine trees. Or if you wanted to have them be cypress trees, they could be, or they could be spruce trees. But I'm going to think about them as pine trees. They look like pine trees to me. So we're going to go with evergreen, evening evergreen, and I'm going to cut one of the little one and the tall one from this evening evergreen piece. And then I'm going to also get some garden green. We're going to cut out a different, just so that we have a little bit more green in there. I don't want it to just be the one green. This does cut it out really easy and not hard at all. Look at that. That's going to come out. As I talk, I'm struggling. But it's coming out. It's me, not the die. Actually comes out really super easy. I didn't even need my roller or pick. Okay, so there's that one. And then we'll get off our little pieces. And I'm going to put garden green in, although it's not quite the shade of green I want. But we're going to do it anyway. And I might color it so that it's a little bit closer to the color green I want. Because I don't want anything olive-like. I want it to be blue-greenish, but not spruce necessarily. So anyway, we'll just see what we get. Nice to be back in Missouri, but I'm telling you, the driving here is so funny. So I saw on a no, it wasn't a website. It was actually my Southern Living catalog, I think. Not catalog, but magazine that comes once a month. It had all the rules that Southerners like to break, which is interesting because it's called Southern Living. So, I mean, they're talking like real South. And I don't think Missouri really qualifies for real South. I think people who are living in the South would think, you guys are not Southerners. But that's okay. This is as Southern as I'm going to be getting. And it's very Southern to me. Well, living here in Missouri is very, very, very Southern to me. So it counts. So here's the rules that Southerners Love to Break. And I was sure I would see the driving one on there first, because to me that's the most obvious one that is broken. Like seriously, I almost got hit again by somebody running a red light, because they do that so badly here. But that was not one of them. All right, so we're going to take the wreath part that had the little gap, or wherever you just don't like it as much. Like mine's pretty fat down here. So I think I'm going to put the fattest part where my little trees are going to go. And then you're just going to assemble this and be done. Now let's take our green. We do want a tiny bit of different green on that. I'm going to use my soft succulent, or Lost Lagoon would work too, but I'm going to use this light soft succulent, and let's have a look and see what this does. I don't want it to, I'm not really coloring it. I am just kind of like marking it. It's just going to make it look a little darker. You see? Just a little. So it's not quite so garden greeny. I don't know if that one's dark enough. Let's get the dark version of soft succulent. Soft succulent's one of my favorites. It's not a color we have anymore. I'm so sorry. But I do think Lost Lagoon would be exactly the same, or if not exactly, very, very close. Okay, so I'm just adding in a little bit of the pine needle-y look. Okay, just kind of getting a bit darker color, like this. Very nice. Okay, so that one's done. Oh, I do have a mini one. Let's do the mini too. The little mini trees. They're so cute. This is a great one for Christmas, and it's good for camps. Our church kids are going to go to camp here very soon. And we love looking at all the kids going to camp, because it just reminds us of when we were involved in camps and when we're taking our kids to camp, and it was always so much fun. Now take your brown, whatever brown you've got. You could use your copper clay. You could use, you know, anything you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm just grabbing a random brown out here. This one is number 100. And I'm going to color those little trunks just a bit, so they're not green. The trunks should not be green. It'll look a little more tree-like, just a little. These are kind of scrawny. Are cypress more like this, or I think pines are more like this. Pines, not even spruce so much. I think it's the pines that you tend to see a lot more of the trunk than other evergreens. It was a real treat when we went to California for the birth of our granddaughter. And yes, my newsletter's off a bit. I had to do some pre-newslettering stuff, but she is home, enjoying being home. And that was the best Mother's Day gift for my daughter, for sure. And it was really for me too, because what is the best gift for your kids just is the best gift for you too. I mean, that's the deal. When you're a parent, whether you're mom or dad, when things are going well with your kids, they're going well for you too, and vice versa. So true. It's a great picture of how God feels about us. If you ever wondered about the love of God, then I hope you have kids, because it will eliminate what you worry and wonder about. As a sinful human, if you love your kids that much and you know he loves them more, then it tells you a lot about his love. Okay, now we are going to take this and put some, I'm going to have to cut some little teeny tiny strips from my foam. This is, you can buy Stampin' Up! Foam sheets, and that's what this is. And I have cut words out of it. That's usually what I use this for. I actually did not want that. Why is my Why is my dimensional package missing? I thought I grabbed out my package of dimensionals when I grabbed that out. That is so strange. Are my dimensionals just AOL? Because I'm not seeing them. And I usually have them laying around on my desk. And I bet you I cleaned up my desk. And I hope I didn't throw away a package of dimensionals. But I might have. I don't see it. So I'm going to grab another package. Good thing I have a bunch of extras. Now those are the big ones. And I actually want the minis. Those are the big ones. I want the minis. I guess I could use black minis. Let's grab those, because I can see those here. This is bizarre. I'm going to have to go on a dimensional search. So, normally, I would just take right here on the edge. We're going to cut a very, very skinny line. Because I need little tiny pieces here. I probably don't need this many, but who knows? I think I'm going to need a tweezer on this one. Okay, so we're going to just take that and then stick these all around on my wreath. That one's pretty long. Yes, it's a little tedious to do, but believe me, it's so worth it. There's a tiny bit of dimensional stuck to my tweezers. All right, get off of there. Okay, there's one. Let's find the fat part and put that big long one there. Okay, here's another one. Oh, you got stuck already off, so we'll put you here. Coming along nicely. There's a lot of roaring going on out there. Okay, rules they like to break. Southerners like to break rules, apparently. Now, I wouldn't have known that because I don't see a lot of rule breaking going on, but there are some rules that they like to break. So here were Southern Living's suggestions for that. And running a red light was not one of them, but that would be mine. And maybe that's just a Missouri thing. I don't know. Don't talk about church or your church or religion. Okay, that is a rule of thumb that I grew up with and ignored because of course being, growing up in an evangelical home setting, that rule can be broken all the time. But here, even people who aren't really terribly religious are going to be going to church, and they are just curious what church you go to. So it was very surprising to be asked that by many people when we moved here. What church do you go to? Well, I didn't know that you could even ask such a question, especially in such an impertinent way. But here they don't mean it that way. They're just genuinely curious because if you're interested, they'll be happy to invite you to their church. So anyhow, I love that, and it's great. I love it. I suppose there are people who don't like it, but that's not something that we have disliked at all. How about sticking to a dress code? That is a rule that Southerners apparently love to break, but I wouldn't know anything about that either. Then when I read the article a little more closely, it was because they like to dress up. Again, how would I know? Jeff and I don't go anywhere where you're ever going to dress up, so I didn't notice that. And at our church, we're super casual. So if they do like to dress up at church, I really wouldn't know it because they do on special events like Easter. And I bet Mother's Day this last Sunday, I bet there was a lot of really fancy dressing up. I didn't really notice. I try not to gawk too much. All right, so they like to dress up. So if it says dressy casual, apparently a Southern person is going to go super dressy. They have no clue what you're talking about if you say dressy casual. They understand casual and they understand dressy, but dressy casual, no. And in the West, you know what? There's nothing but dressy casual. They on the West Coast where we grew up and lived, you know, it was a shock when I remember we went to a restaurant that was a fancy one in Seattle where we ended up not going because they were going to make my husband wear a tie. It's like, are you kidding me? I thought that went out with the dark ages. I didn't know you couldn't eat somewhere without a tie. All right, so here we go. Here's our little wreath. Super cute. Just pluck that guy right on there. And now for these, you know, I seriously would not do what I just did for the wreath. That wreath is a lot fatter than the trees. And you do not want to be cutting and working with those teeny, teeny, teeny pieces. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to glue this guy on. Okay, that guy, he can get glued on. But on the other ones, instead of dimensionals, we're going to kind of get the same effect by using the little mini glue dots. They're clear, so if they show, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to put any on the tips here. That's going to maybe go up higher on that big one, because I'm going to just tuck this in, like right in here. And then that tip's going to go on top of this wreath right there. Okay, so now that's nice and secure, but for the other ones, we are going to just use these mini dots. They're clear little round ones. These are the size for us, but you can buy smaller ones too, and they stretch and they do all kinds of things. So I'm kind of rolling it. I'm going to roll it and then stick it on here on the little branches. And if I can get it a little thicker, it's going to stand up a little bit more than just gluing it, certainly. But it's not as fat as a dimensional. But if you roll it, you can get it a little fatter. And then it's going to sort of act like a dimensional. You could even layer them. If you really wanted to, you could put two glue dots together and it would certainly be a lot fatter. But it's not going to be necessary to do that. So anyhow, that is going to work out nicely. Okay, so the other rule that Southerners love to break is don't block traffic, which I should have known that from the fact that the people out in front with their dumpster stuck right out in the middle of... The article said if people are having a conversation in the street, blocking traffic, or even in the grocery store, and they're blocking the aisle with their carts because they're chatting, that is, in Southern life, is perfectly acceptable. That is not blocking traffic. You're just being friendly and talking. I hate that. That is just so much against my nature. In the West, I don't think people do that generally. That's like the height of rudeness. But maybe they do it all the time now there. It seems like the Western side now is like in the height of rudeness for almost everything. So I don't even think there are any rules about that anymore in the West or the East or anywhere. I really don't know. But all I know is I really despise that. So it won't happen with us. We might have to live with it, but we're not going to be doing it. Jeff and I will never probably be real Southerners, will we? And for one thing, our speech pattern probably never come up to snuff, even if we tried. Okay, so I've got quite a few good. I mean, I'm getting it good and stuck to my fingers. That's for sure. But I do want one more right here because I want it to stay on there. And maybe I better put one like right at the tip. I don't want the top of my little tree to fall off. Get rid of that bit. I do really like these glue dots. I don't use them a ton because for one thing, when I do, it seems like sometimes they don't stick all that well, you know, but they do initially, but okay. I'm going to put this, like about here, and then we can kind of see my trees behind it, and it's kind of just sticking on there. And then we are going to do the same thing with these little mini guys. We'll put the little green one here. Okay, the other rule is you always start every greeting with a handshake. That's a rule they love to break because Southerners don't just do a handshake. They'll do a handshake. But everybody is a buddy if you're going to be a friendly person like you should be if you're living here. So a handshake is okay, but a hug is better. And you will get one. You will get one unless, you know, COVID changed a lot of things. Because I think that tradition kind of had to go a little bit. But there's still people who are not going to give that up easy. All right, so I could put another one here, but I don't think it's really necessary. I think that's going to be overkill, so I'm going to leave that one off. And there we go. Now, the last thing you need for this one, so fast and easy, you need some twine. And we have some in color. This is from our in color, again, not from this year, but before. This is copper clay. This is like one strand left. It has 3 strands, and I always separate them when I cut them, and I've already done one. Well, you know, I like it to look frilly, so even though this is not really a separatable, I'm going to do it anyway. And then we're going to have, I'm going to have to be careful because it's kind of disintegrate on me if I do mess with it too much. All right, so I've kind of got, that didn't really work, did it? Because now you can't. So the rule is you can't separate this twine. It's not embroidery thread, rats. So I'm going to go grab another piece of my copper clay twine. Comes in Moody Mauve, Boho Blue, this copper clay, and wild wheat. It's really nice. I love these colors. I'm going to have to buy some more of this stuff because I use a lot of twine. And it lasts me a long time, though, because see how fat that is? I never use it at that width. I always separate them out. So I can get 2 card bows, you know, from this one little cutting. But I guess you can't, if this has just the 3 threads, and as you just saw, it will disintegrate if you try to take it further than the 3. So there you go. Don't do that. And then you'll be all fine. So there's my 3rd one. So I've got one I could use, but I love to double these up and just use those 2. It's very pretty. So we'll tuck this guy in here if I can. Underneath where my, oops, I want you in there too. Get in there. Okay. All right, so now we'll take our little twine. It is, what is this? This is In Color Jute Trim. Here's the number. It's $8 for, did I just say 4 colors? I think it's 4 of the in colors. Maybe there's 5 and I missed one. But anyhow, it's very cute. Easy to tie a nice little bow with. Even I can do it. We'll do it this way, since you kind of want to. There we go. And there you are. Nice little twiny bow. We'll get our piece off there, and there you are. Isn't that a nice thank you card? So cute. All right, now the other thing that I want to show you before we're done with this set, though, is how to use your flowers. Okay, now they can go on that same little vine. We're just going to color these. Okay, so let me grab my favorite colors. I'm going to start with Petal Pink. Okay, ow, I hit my head on my light. All right, so I'm going to just start with Petal Pink here. And I'm going to color just the inside and not the edges. And for this one, I think I'll do something else. We'll do Petal Pink for this one. Okay, and the buds just a little bit. And then we are going to grab Flirty Flamingo and not Lovely Lipstick. I sometimes use Lovely Lipstick still, but my polished pink is pretty good for that too. So I'm going to take I think we'll just go with this. Maybe we won't even use that. Let's see. Dark Flirty Flamingo. We're going to just put some color right here in the center. Where the lines are. I mean, not center, but like at the edge. The inner edge. Not the outer edge, but the inner edge. Usually a flower has more color near the stamens than it does towards the outer petal, especially a nice little rose. Man, when I went out and checked my roses today, I've never, ever seen ants on a rose. And here, only 2 buds, but they were like covered. I was wondering as I approached, what is that bug? Because I have just sprayed these roses, and so what bug is all over those dark? Because it was the black. And then I put my hand on it, and an ant got on my fingers, and I looked, and like, oh, it's like completely covered with ants, these 2 buds. So I went online and saw that they actually harvest the aphids on your roses. So I guess on just those 2 buds, there were like tons of aphids. I don't know. I'd never seen that before. It was very amusing. And I will be getting out the bug spray. Okay, so now I left all the edges nice and white because you want that lightness. So we're going to go ahead and take my Petal Pink and try to pull these colors together into the edge a bit, but still leaving a lot of white on that edge. Just because Petal Pink is going to look fairly white, you know, in comparison. Now, if you really want white, you can use your blender pen. That's the color lifter one. And you can lift the color. I actually don't, especially with this emboss, you don't want to do that a whole bunch on your embossing powder probably. So, it probably would be fine and not take it off, but you know, you can see this dark spot. That embossing actually can kind of come off onto these alcohol inks slightly. So if you see that your tip's gotten dark like that, do clean it off at least a little. Let me check these and see if they did it too. See that? Only a tiny bit on that one. So probably, and I don't really see any on that one. It's not going to happen with my Memento. It only happens with the embossing. So what I use is just a tiny, tiny little white gel pen. If I want it to look like it's really jumping out white at the edge, just use a little bit. Don't get it on the embossing. Just use your white gel pen. Just around the edge, just a little bit. A little goes a long way. Okay. Very nice. It will just kind of jump out a bit. Now, if I had thought about it, I could have sponged a little background underneath too, and it would have come out even more with color around this. Oh, I can even use it here where I went out of the lines with my pink a little bit there. Okay, I think that's good enough. All right, now green, what green do I want? It just depends on what kind of DSP you're going to use. If you're going to use a lime type one, then do use your olives and granny apple and all of that. This is old olive, so I'm going to just use my light old olive. I don't need a lot, just a little. There we go, and orange for my center. Actually, orange. What have we got here? I do like orange, but Mango Melody, that is my favorite center color. So we're going to use that. And I'm trying to dot it on so that I'm not getting a ton of that gold embossing powder on my pen. Okay, let's do this one too. And I'm going to do the same thing, just dotting, because if there's some light color white in there, that is perfect. I don't need it to be like something super, super duper. Rose color. Let's do our yellow. And we're going to make these a bit more orangey. I've got a I finally broke down and bought a Double Delight, but I got it as a cheapo end of the season type mail order rose, so it's just canes are still sitting out there. But that one, I know, it's a strong one. It's going to be really, really nice when it comes out. That'll be a strong one. This is Pale Papaya, which is pretty pale. I'll take the dark one. Your peach pie is going to add more color, but I'll use this on the edge here. It's very close to that Mango Melody. I mean, like super close. Look at that. Isn't that funny? I didn't realize I could probably use this instead of Mango Melody, but I think I can. And so let's grab... Oh, let's just do Pale Pumpkin Pie, all right? That should give us some actual orange here. And you can see this flower is pretty forgiving. You can just kind of add your color in and not even be all that careful about it. It'll be fine. And we'll finish with our dark Flirty Flamingo. So we're not too tangerine-y. We have At Last and there's another one. Easy Does It. That's it. That's one of my favorites. It's got this orangey kind of color with pink. It's so pretty. All right, so dark Pale Papaya. Let's use you and try to blend that a bit. And now I think we are about done with those. With this kind of color, I think we'll want something more bluish. So let's do our light Shy Shamrock. And we're going to get a little bit more blue-green going there. Very nice. And that is that. If you want to have your leaf look a little more highlighted, just add some of your white gel pen. And you can do the same thing with your white gel pen on the rose too, if you want to, highlight those edges any. Or if you went into the line like I just did there with my green. Anyway, this is just a way to kind of bring those edges out a little bit without having actually done any watercoloring. All right, and then our die will cut those out and we can put those on a card. They're very pretty, very simple. I'm not going to do it because, you know, you get the idea. You're just going to want to put it on any kind of a background that's going to match these. It's going to look beautiful. We actually do have some nice DSP that's pretty, would go with just about anything. We've got these, the Thoughtful Journey. That is nice. These are the back sides, okay? Any of these would look really good. And then this side has the floral scenes. So if you put your wreath on it and the flower, oh, I think you would really love that. Wouldn't the wreath look good with this flower on here? So pretty. Let's see if we can find a good one with a pink. There we go. They're so gorgeous. They're very, very user-friendly. You could do so many different things with this DSP. Now this one, I think this might be on low inventory. I mean, it's possible. Thoughtful Journey, I suspect it might be. I would be buying it quick if I were you, if you haven't got it already. I know I ordered an extra. I think I ordered 2 extra packs. We also have this one called Full of Life. Oh boy, look at you. Look at that. So pretty. Now this one is a nice, kind of like ombres and what is it, tie-dye, you know, look there. But most of them are kind of an ombre, but they're actually rainbowish too. I mean, like everything. So it's 6 by 6. So you'd be cutting just a portion of it. So you're going to get a lot of use out of this one. That one's called Full of Life. It's so pretty. That one would make a really nice background. And then we've got this cute little duck one. Lily Pond Lane. Oh, it's so cute. Got cute little ducks. But let's see where we could put a wreath on this one. There we go. So there's one we could use. Put our little wreath on it. Put your little flower on it. Stamp the sentiment or stamp the sentiment on a tag and insert tag. So cute. Any of these papers would make really nice backgrounds just for these simple little cards. So that's what I'm going to show you today. I hope that you are enjoying a lovely day. We had a ton. Oh, there you go. Is not going to allow me to continue. It is done. So you have a wonderful day. I don't know if I think I'm back on. I don't know what it's doing, but you have a wonderful day. It is not bad. We had a lot of rain, and I'm glad about that. And now it's nice, so I can go ride my bike. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.